Hey folks, this is Rhykker, bringing you a Diablo 3 patch 2.3 preparation guide. Blizzard has announced that Season 3 will end on August 25th, and Season 4 will start on August 28th. While they haven't yet given us a release date for patch 2.3, it obviously falls between the 25th and the 28th, and new patches tend to release on Tuesdays. So we could be seeing 2.3 as early as next Tuesday. Here's a list of do's and don'ts that will help you get a head start for when patch 2.3 goes live. First off, do start picking up Death's Breath again. I reached a point months ago where I just stopped picking these up. I had thousands and realized I was accumulating them far faster than I was spending them. However, many of the Kanai's Cube crafting recipes use up a lot of Death's Breath, with some of the more commonly used recipes requiring 10 and 25 Death's Breath. To put that into perspective, an average T10 Rift might net you roughly 15 Death's Breath. So every time you want to roll that recipe in the cube, you have to think, this'll cost me a T10 Rift. Similarly, do start picking up Veiled Crystal again, that yellow crafting material. I stopped picking those up a long time ago because I was always running low on blues and whites. Now, a Kanai's Cube recipe allows you to easily convert any crafting material to any other crafting material. So rather than break your head trying to scrounge up more blue and white crafting mats, you can just normally stock up on yellows and convert them whenever you need to. Similarly again, do start picking up any gems that you may have stopped picking up. Another recipe allows you to easily convert one gem type to another. Do start picking up repeat items from sets that you haven't completed. For example, if you're looking for Delzier's shoulders and you keep getting Delzier's everything else, hold on to these extra pieces because one of the cube recipes allows you to convert a set item into another piece from that same set. This will allow you to keep re-rolling until you get the shoulders. Next, do craft any crafted gear that you need now. In patch 2.3, crafting set items and legendaries no longer cost Forgotten Souls, but they do cost the act-specific crafting materials that you get from farming bounties. But you'll want to save these materials for use in cube recipes. Right now, you likely have an abundance of Forgotten Souls, so go ahead and get your crafted gear now, while it's still relatively cheap. Next, do save any puzzle rings and bovine bardiches you find. This is semi-optional, but basically, putting a puzzle ring into the cube opens a portal to the vault. Putting the bovine bardiche in the cube opens a portal to the cow level. If you want to have easy access to all the gold and loot that you'll get there, then hold on to these items. On to some don'ts. Don't farm for rift keys. In 2.3, rift fragments are gone. You no longer need them to open rifts. Don't farm greater rift keys from the Realm of Trials. A common practice right now is to repeatedly farm the Realm of Trials to stock up on a bunch of greater rift keys. In patch 2.3, all greater rift keys of every level will be converted into a new single type of greater rift key that simply allows you to open a grift. The Realm of Trials will be gone, and you will have the choice on what greater rift level to open with that generic greater rift key. Next, don't bother farming Horadric caches in advance for those crafting materials. In the PTR, there initially was a bug that enabled Horadric caches farmed in 2.2 to be opened in 2.3 and include the act-specific crafting materials, but that bug has been fixed, and any 2.2 Horadric caches opened in 2.3 will not include the crafting material. Next, don't craft any Hellfire amulets. In 2.3, crafted Hellfire amulets come with a guaranteed socket. It will be a waste to craft one now, when in a week from now, you will have a much higher chance at rolling a good Hellfire. Do farm Key Warden keys, but don't create any infernal machines with them, and don't do the Uber fights. Any keys that you accumulate now will be turned into machines in 2.3. With the new patch, Key Wardens will drop machines, not keys. The entire Hellfire process is much more efficient. Do farm items whose powers you'll want to extract with Kanai's Cube. The cube has a power that melts down a legendary item and extracts its legendary property. You can then equip that property on your character as a passive ability. And lastly, do hold on to items that you'll want to wear when the patch comes out. And this includes some of the revised sets. Updates and changes to legendary items in 2.3 will not be retroactive. However, set changes will be. So for instance, the Witch Doctor's Helltooth set, which is currently useless, is being massively improved in 2.3, and you can pre-farm that now. We'll now go through every class and give you a list of items that you might want to farm for and hold on to that could be important to you in patch 2.3. Starting with the Barbarian, we're going to break things down into 3 sections. Items that you'll want to cube, items that you'll want to wear, and items that you might either want to cube or wear. Now, the importance behind these 3 separate categories is that for items that you want to cube, it doesn't matter what stats roll on them. You just need the item, even the crappiest version of the item. When you melt it down into the cube extracts its power at the maximum possible roll. For items that you want to wear, however, you'll want to get the best versions you can possibly get. We're talking about Ancients with high rolls and the right rolls. Now, these are not exhaustive lists, nor are these all necessarily the absolute best items, but this is just a sampling of the items that will be useful to you in 2.3. For the Barbarian, we'll quickly highlight that the Immortal King set is now viable again, and there's actually an assortment of different builds that are currently working for it, and it'll be interesting to see which might emerge as the strongest. For the time being though, Barbarians have a number of different options when it comes to viable endgame builds. As for the Crusader, it's looking like the new Hammered-In set that 2.3 is introducing will be the Crusader flavor of the month. It's certainly powerful, but Roland's still seems to be at least competitive with it. On our Crusader lists, we've included some Roland's sweep attack build items, because at the very least, you'll need a good Roland's build to efficiently gear up for a Hammered-In build. For the Demon Hunter, we're seeing 2 main builds, the Natalia's build and the Unhallowed Essence build. Both seem about equally powerful and equally viable. That said, there isn't a lot of variety within each of those respective builds, so the exact items you take should be more dependent on whether you want to opt for Natalia's or Unhallowed Essence. For the Monk, this is another class in which we're currently seeing a lot of variety in viable endgame builds. However, they all seem to revolve around Shenlong set, those twin fist weapons. If you can, try to get a hold of some ancient Shenlongs, and you can then open up your options to determine what flavor of Shenlongs you want to build. For the Witch Doctor, things are looking pretty clean cut right now. We're seeing 2 main endgame builds. The Dagger of Darts build, which has been carried over from 2.2 and improved with the cube powers. And we're seeing the emergence of the Helltooth set as a viable alternative to the Dart build. It's unclear whether it could match its power, but it is certainly worthy. The items for the Darts build are basically set in stone. As for the Helltooth build, we're seeing a few different flavors of it right now, which allows for a greater variety of gearing and skill options than the Dagger of Darts build. Lastly, the Wizard. While 2.3 does bring great improvements to the Veer set, as well as the Chandoto set, which together form the Archon build, for non-season, Del Rasha builds still reign supreme. Season 4 will introduce a belt that makes the Archon build competitive and possibly superior to Del Rasha's, but for non-season, some flavor of Del Rasha still seems like it will be tops. That said, we are seeing some nice variety in the exact flavors of Del Rasha, so by collecting this variety of gear here, you'll leave your options open to test out which flavors you prefer. Just before closing, I will quickly address a commonly asked question: what happens to my seasonal characters when the season ends? Very simple, they become non-season characters, and all your progress gets transferred over to non-season. Nothing is lost, everything is retained, and all the items in your seasonal stash will be sent to your mailbox, which you can access through a button that will appear on the bottom left corner of your screen. That wraps up this guide. Thanks for watching. Leave me a comment letting me know what class you plan to play in patch 2.3 and season 4. Check out these other videos, and if you enjoyed this one, share it with friends, leave a comment, hit like, and subscribe to join Rhykker's Raiders.